Hey everyone, how's it going? This is James from A Tin Robot Games. I hope you're having a great week and are heading into a fantastic weekend. And today we're actually going to talk about something pretty exciting, which is we're going to do a live opening of our new game, Garden Geckos. Now this game hasn't even gone to market yet. We are preparing to do a Kickstarter. So this is the first sample that I've seen, production sample from the plant. What I always do is what I call reviewer copies. And reviewer copies are packages that we create to send out to our reviewers, let them do preview videos and so forth. And then from there, we take those videos and we add them to our Kickstarter page, and it helps with the promotion of our game. So when I create these 100 copies, it's not necessarily going to be what the final game looks like, but it is pretty darn close enough that the previewers can give their opinion as to whether they like the game or not. And I say previewers, but really it's reviewers, because we don't pay for any of these. We just ship out the games to any reviewer that wants to look at the game, and they give us their unbiased opinion. And you get what you get. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. All right, first and foremost, What's Games is the manufacturer that we went with on this one. Oh, darn it, there's some damage there. That's what you get when you ship games, unfortunately, is they'll just put it in a master case and they'll ship it. And then if your courier guy doesn't care, which most of them don't, they just drop the case on its corner and you get dents and dings and things like that. So good thing I'm opening up this one. This is not one I'll send to a reviewer. First and foremost, graphics turned out really well. We got the story on the back explaining the game. The box itself is a linen finish, so it's got a really good kind of clean feel to it. So if you get anything spilt on it, it'll easily wipe off. It also helps kind of mute the graphics a bit so you're not getting that glare off the box as you're walking by. I am planning in the final production to have spot UV varnish on the Garden Gecko title plate, probably on this little moth, and might even spot UV on the actual gecko himself. Inside of the box. So it's the gecko like he's looking down at you from in the clouds. So these guys did an amazing job on the printing on the inside. That's probably the best inside printing I've had on any game we've done yet. The box is pretty much filled right to the rim with the stuff. So these are punch outs that you'll have to actually knock out yourself. These are the punch outs with the backs. The artwork turned out really great. I can't wait to do some photography with this. This is the one I was worried about that them not getting right. So this punch out here in the center, this is starting tile. And you'll notice there's actually a hole in it. I was worried they wouldn't quite get that. And that I would have to end up cutting that out myself because there was some communication going back and forth on how we would do that die line. So when you open up the box inside, it does look a little bit empty on the inside. But once we punch out all those tiles and put them in there, this is going to fill up this space. I am blown away at the quality. I gotta give a shout out to my buddy Drew at What's Games. He and I connected at knew each other virtually, but connected formally at Essen this year. And then he started working for What's Games, and he's like, "Hey, can we quote on it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, man. Like, it doesn't hurt to have you quote." And they end up winning the quote, and their quality is really good. Like, wow. Like, it's wow quality. Amazing. All right, so the cards, these are all linen finish. So we have the bug objective cards. So each bug objective card says these are the bugs that your geckos are going to have to connect. And there's the back of the card. It's the bug objective cards, which look really cool. We have our terrain objective cards, which if you can get your geckos to cover off certain terrain, you can win those objectives. And at the bottom is the bugs. And you'll see at the bottom of these are the bug points. So each bug you can actually get either on a card or physically trapping, and I'll talk about that in a second, are worth 1 point each. And so it's easy. You can stack the cards kind of like this, and then just count your bugs up at the bottom at the end of the game and see what your score is. Then we've got the secret objective cards, which are these ones here. And each player gets one. And what they are is you're either getting a bug objective or a terrain objective. So these are bugs and these are terrains. So if you have a terrain objective card, which is this one here, for the largest territory you've built of that terrain during the game, you get a bonus point for each segment of that. If you have a bug as a secret objective. Then you get 2 bonus points for every bug that is in that at the end of the game that you've scored, both in your objectives as well as trapped. All right, let's get into the meeples. Holy F. These look... Sorry to use harsh letters, but I am blown away by these meeples. All right, let's look at the green and blue geckos. So say you're colorblind and you can't tell the difference between these two colors. On the back, they have different patterns. One has polka dots and the other one has little squares. So you can tell whose meeple's who on the table if you're colorblind. So that was one little touch we did that we thought was cool. So again, printing on both sides of these meeples. And we have green, we have black, we have white, blue, and of course the red. So those turned out, again, way better than I thought they were going to turn out. It is so cool when you get a prototype that comes in exactly how you wanted it. Like, this is crazy because I've yet to do a game where we get the production prototype, we're rushed, and there's always something that's gone wrong. I'm sure I'm going to find something once I go through these in more detail. But there's nothing glaring. Like, this looks like retail ready, quite frankly. This could be on a shelf right now. And we're only going to make it better. Okay, let's get into the bug meeples. So the bugs originally were thinking about doing tokens. And then we're going to do a one-color print, like a white on red, for instance, for the ladybugs. And I went through the costing, and we made the costing work to actually print on both sides. So this is a wood meeple. This isn't a punch out. This is a wood meeple. Printed ladybug on one side, and you flip over and printed ladybug on the other side. There's flies, these little fruit flies in the game. Double printed on both sides. Grasshoppers. Cricket, although everyone says this is a cockroach, but it's a cricket because geckos eat crickets. The moth, which I absolutely love. Printed on both sides. And then we get the mealworms. Again, wooden tokens. 4-color print on both sides. I am blown away. So that is, and in the back of the box, we have the story of Garden Geckos, UPC code, and so forth. So that's Garden Geckos box opening. I'll talk about a couple other things. So now let's talk about the resource bowls. We had this idea of continuing on with kind of the environmental thing where components are made of wood, tiles are paper, cards are paper, the box insert made of paper. And then the idea was we were going to have these kind of resource bowls that put the meeples in, right? So you have your little bowl full of bug tokens set up along the table. And they said, well, they couldn't send me all the bowls, but they could send me one sample. And I said, I really need to see a sample. And this is why, because that is a huge bowl. This bowl is like probably 8 times the size it needs to be. And I was looking for little tiny wooden bowls, little wooden dishes to put the tokens in. So I'm glad I got them to send me a bowl. And we'll have to talk about whether we do that or we find another option so that we're being as environmentally responsible as we can on this particular game. So still planning out these we got to get right for me to be happy with it. The last thing I want to talk about was the plushies. So this is the first campaign where we're doing plushies. And here's a picture of the guy here. Have had zero experience doing plushies, but from some of the campaigns I've seen out there, certainly Doomlings and these guys are adding plushies onto the game. There's a demand for plushies now in the board game space. There's companies you can get that will take your artwork. So what we did is we took our artwork from there and had them create a plushie based on that gecko. And I think it turned out pretty good. That rough draft looks awesome. So thank you so much for watching this box opening with me. That was so exciting. I had so much fun with that. If this is the kind of content you want to see, if you made it to the end, do me a favor. Please click on the follow me button and follow our channel. It'd be greatly appreciated. We'll send more of this content out. For now, cheers.